It
I
started.
think there's a word for that.
Like,
Action?
live. Oh, action. That's
No, I
a
thought it
much better word.
I thought it was Mark or something.
Mark? No, it's action.
No,
Okay.
he's in Oregon.
Yeah,
Mark? Oh no.
for that.
Okay, here we go. Let's play some music and get a podcast rolling.
No, I thought it was a better word. I thought it was Mark or something.
Mark? No.
Uh-oh. Hang on. I'm getting feedback now. Much delayed.
Yeah.
I think that was me.
Do you have the web page open by chance?
I had the YouTube open.
Yeah.
I closed it just
There
now.
you go. That's it. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, now we'll play some music. Oh, you found us. Thank you for coming to Caching in the Northwest. Did you know this is the only podcast dedicated to geocaching in the great Pacific Northwest? We're going to talk about caches and cachers unique to this little corner of the country. So while you're stuck in traffic for no apparent reason, we'll be caching in the Northwest. And we have to do this with our gourmet monkey. Yes, some say there's a cheese in France named after him, and others say Starbucks is going to name their next roast in his honor. All we know is he's called Land Monkey.
That's right. Next time you walk into a Starbucks, make sure you order a Venti double shot Moncachino. They definitely know what you're ordering. You won't get a weird look at all, I guarantee it.
Should it be a soy Moncachino?
You can, if you have lactose issues, I would definitely consider that.
What if I'm just intolerant?
Then definitely stay away from a Moncachino.
Okay.
Because that will definitely test the boundaries of your tolerance. All right. Hey, guys, we want to thank you for your patience in waiting for us to get this podcast started this evening. We are so happy to have our awesome guests with us, Lisa and JD. Hey, guys. Nice to see you guys.
Hey. Thanks for having us on.
You're very welcome. Thanks for joining us. And we want to thank our faithful Denali level supporters, and that is Limax, Team Squirrel, and worldcaching.com. And folks, if you want to know more about supporting the show, just head on over to cachingnw.com and look over on the left-hand side of the page and click on that Patreon link. Now, before we get into some more stuff and start talking about some news and the sustainability of Spokane Geotour that we're really excited to talk about, we want to make a special announcement. That's a happy birthday to faithful listener of the show and our favorite baker, Die Monkey. Happy birthday.
Yay.
It's her actual birthday today.
That's awesome. I hope somebody made cupcakes for her. All right.
That should be, yes.
I think that was discussed in the chat already while we were
Good.
biding our time. So that's good. But yes, tonight we are going to talk with JD and Lisa from Cache Advance, cache-advance.com, and about the sustainability of Spokane Geotour, brand new Geotour. So we're really looking forward to that. But before we get into that, we want to remind you guys that all of our faithful listeners, that you have an opportunity to win something without even having to go find any geocaches. Well, I guess technically you have to find at least one, because what you need to do is write a geocaching log of the week, a glow, or find one and send it in to us. Submit a glow, a geocaching log of the week, and you can earn a badge. You will get your very own Caching in the Northwest glow badge.
So whether you wrote it or you read it, see, you can go find it. You don't even have to go find a cache yourself. You could just read a log.
But you really want to find a cache.
You want to find a cache. Of course you do. There's winter months. Maybe you don't get out. We'll talk about that later. But we want to hear about it because great logs simply makes geocaching better. Send an email to feedback@cachingnw.com. You can call in to 253-693-TFTC, or you can use that handy dandy voicemail tool right there on the website and show us how you glow. Now, this week's log is submitted by friend of the show, Limax. He prefaces the log, the glow, Gentlemen, I was looking at an odd cache that's GCRB74 in Seattle to get inspiration for a cache close by me that's the same puzzle. While I was reading the logs on this one, I came across this log, and I really think it fits the glow segment, and it is a fitting tribute. So we find Alezex. The cache has an interesting little personal touch for me. It was a vexing find for me back when I was much relatively less experienced cacher, my freshman year at UW and new to Seattle. At the time, me and my friend, Aven, that was the username, tried some algebra and ended up looking at a completely different street in the U District. Now, 2 years later, the solution finally came to me while I'm sitting in class, and I made the walk out with Natatat 4. Natatat. Yeah, that's a tough one. There's a lot of vowels there. Anyway.
They're all the same vowel. How can it be that?
Same vowel. You're right.
It's just like Canada, but with N's and T's.
Oh yeah. Oh, now I feel silly. Of course, it's just like Canada. Went out with Natatat 4 to find it. I then passed away in January of this year. I'd like to think somewhere he shared the aha moment with us. This find is dedicated to him. Caching has helped build some friendships that I'll remember for the rest of my life. Thanks for helping me remind me of that. So there you go. Isn't that nice?
Oh, that is nice. All right. Well, speaking of nice things, we also had some feedback sent into the show. We're going to play that in just a moment, but we want to remind you guys that we're always really interested in hearing your voices on this show. And if there's a milestone cache find that you're celebrating or any kind of interesting occasion, maybe you have a cat that wants to be on a podcast, why not call it into 253-693-TFTC and share it with the entire NorthWest geocaching community. Now, this one comes in from, you guessed it, Limax. We were just talking about him. And he says, gentlemen, I'm thinking he's got the wrong podcast here. But anyways, just a quick note to let you know I reached 2,048 caches recently by stumbling upon an event. That is another power of 2, and I have officially gone to 11. Or 1-1, I suppose, depending on how you're looking at that.
There you go. Limax likes to find not the normal milestones. He's done, 1776, 1863, when California was admitted to the Union. So different things like that. That's always interesting. But you know what? Even though it's Die Monkey's birthday, I think this is kind of Limax's show. He also called in voicemail. Let's go ahead and have a listen.
Hello, gentlemen. This is Limax. Listening to an older show, and I just heard Land Monkey's question on what you would teach a new cacher on, whether it be a smartphone or GPSR. I actually am finding myself in that very situation right now. My daughter, who has gone caching with me in the past, decided to sign up for her own geocaching account at the Mary Hyde event that just happened. And she is actually on an Android. She uses a Google phone. And so knowing what apps are available there, I actually had her download the official Geocaching app just because I know it would be a very good introduction for her. So I believe I will be teaching her how to cache using her smartphone, at least to begin with. And since I've got 2 GPSRs and she's used that with me before, I'm going to help introduce her onto that. I don't know how serious she's even going to be about it yet. I was thrilled to death that she actually decided to sign up for an account. And we'll just see where it takes us from here. Yeah, she's going to be leaving me a little bit over a month and be on her own. And I don't know if she'll continue the geocaching or if it was just something to do with her dad while she's still around. Anyway, those are my thoughts. Thanks.
Well, thank you, Limax, for sharing that. that's great that there's a possible new cacher. I'm sorry that your daughter's going to be leaving. I assume going off to college. So that's a bittersweet moment there. Now, geocaching this week, the week of July 17th through the 23rd, they want you to work
in the U.S.
Yeah, we get lots of weeks here in the U.S. Canada gets a day here and there, but we get entire weeks. Sorry, Line Monkey, I had to do that. Oh, he's giving me the silent treatment now. This is great for an audio podcast.
Oh, please do continue.
They say work with your crew to collect 30 gold coins in the Friend League, and in the first map piece souvenir, you'll be one step closer to finding the lost treasure of Mary Hyde. The more friends you have on geocaching.com, the easier it will be to keep sailing on. Don't have many geocaching friends? Share your username in the comment section of a blog post or perhaps social media, and others will follow suit, and soon you'll have more friends than you know what to do with, because that's exactly what happens with Land Monkey. To earn your souvenir, you must contribute at least 5 gold coins towards your crew's total. The Friend League will refresh every Monday at 5 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So there you go. The souvenir will be issued Wednesday. It's July 26th.
Awesome. There you go. So I'm kind of curious with you guys, JD and Lisa and Chris, has anybody been out yet this week since the 17th to start earning some doubloons?
Yeah, I went to event Monday night, and so event cache found 2 traditionals. So yeah, I'm crushing it.
Way to go, man.
I have not done anything for my crew this week, but I plan to correct that this weekend.
There you go. Well, we got an invite Tuesday night from one of our regular caching crew that we go out with up here, who said, I'm heading out to Chilliwack tonight. Anybody want to come? And we thought, well, our kids are working tonight, and so yeah, let's go. Chris, I don't know if you remember, Chilliwack is where we filled up with gas and grabbed Timbits on our big road trip we did on Canada Day.
Oh, such a good memory there. Did we find a geocache?
We did not find a geocache there, but we found a whole bunch of Timmies, so we were still good. But yeah, so that was fun. We went out and we picked up 22 caches that night, walked along the river. I think I have 1 mosquito bite for every cache. So.
Oh no.
They come up like 2 days later.
Yes. Yeah. They basically started coming up today.
That was the strangest thing. I mean, I grew up in the Midwest. You got mosquito bites all the time, but as soon as you got bit, there would be a welt. Well, we were out caching with the Land Monkeys, and I thought, man, I feel like I'm getting eaten by mosquitoes, but there are no welts. I must be avoiding it. Until 2 days later, after we had left, I'm like, what are all these?
Wow.
The exchange rate.
It must be. The Canadians are just a little slower than the American mosquito. It must be the cold weather.
I'll tell you, at Mosquito Falls there, the mosquitoes were not slow.
Oh, man. I don't know what the real name of that falls were, but it was a Mosquito Falls. An entire swarm of mosquitoes. It's like, take a picture, run, go.
We felt so bad. That was our 3rd time there in the summer, and we've never had mosquitoes there. And the other 2 times we've been there, we take these guys, we show up, and literally we were swarmed by mosquitoes. It was insane. I've never seen them that voracious. We felt so bad.
My wife went ahead of us, and then she turned around. She's like, they're all over me. Wiped down her back, and we all ran. Wow. I've never run from a mosquito before, but a horde of mosquitoes, that's another thing.
Yeah, pretty crazy. Yeah. So anyways, there we go. That's everybody around the table here and what we've done so far with the Friend League. And folks who want to, not this go round of the Friend League, but a couple weeks from now, who want to join us on the Monte Cristo hike on July 29th. We're definitely looking forward to that. Make sure you sign up for the breakfast event before the hike. That's going to be in Granite Falls on the way to the trailhead. The event GC code is GC78TEQ. So
Tango Echo Quebec.
There you go. How very Canadian.
Isn't it though?
Yeah. Well, and South American at the same time.
With the Tango. What
Yeah.
about the Echo?
I'm sorry, what?
The Echo. Hey,
Echo.
I'll tell you a little story. When I was 16 years old, I just went off, no, 18 years old. I just went off to college. And in my new apartment, within the first week of being there, I got my first AARP card. And, I thought I should get a really good deal if I sign up now, but I didn't. But AARP is telling us the clock is ticking on one of the best travel deals around for seniors. On August 28th, it's a great day, by the way, the cost of a lifetime pass to our national parks for those 62 and older will jump from $10 to $80. That means if you have a few weeks remaining to lock in your $10 lifetime pass for more than 2,000 sites and parks across the country that are managed by the National Park Service. For those that purchase the passes before August 27th, you'll never have to pay an additional fee to visit any of the parks. Now, seniors, you can still opt to buy an annual pass, not a lifetime, an annual pass for $20. Those who purchase annual passes for 4 straight years can convert their pass into a lifetime senior pass. So there you go.
There you go. So August 28th, that's the day that you actually would start to qualify for AARP discounts, isn't it, Chris?
Yeah. No, I do qualify. I got another card. It took them, 40 some odd years in between, but
That's awesome.
Caught up to you.
Yeah, we were at the APE event 4 years ago, and we went to do GCD with local cacher here, Mountain Goat 50.
Mhm.
And he needed Discover Pass or something, and stopped into, I forget which little town it was. Maybe it was Hyack, and went into the ranger station there.
Kayak.
And he comes back out. He says, "I cannot believe this." And we're saying, "What, Jim?" So I just bought a lifetime pass for $10 to all the national parks.
Crazy. Yeah.
It's an incredible deal.
Yeah,
And even $80 is not that expensive
For
yeah.
lifetime, yeah.
for a lifetime. Exactly.
Mhm.
But, if you've got the chance, go grab it now before it goes up.
Absolutely.
Right.
Very cool.
And JD, you don't know the history, but we're not allowed to mention the letters of that particular cache on this podcast anymore.
That's so last year. We can do that.
Oh, okay, that was last year.
You need a secret code for stop the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so, wow, I was banned the last time I was on the show, too.
Oh, apparently not completely banned, because here you are.
Well, it's because Lisa's here. We brought him back.
Oh, okay.
Figure if she's there to sort of keep an eye on him.
As long as you have an adult with you, you're welcome on the podcast.
So is it the cache that shall not be named, that one?
That's it.
Cash.
Boulder.
Oh, we were talking about the APE event and the hike to GCD, and I wanted to separate that into 2 shows.
Oh,
And people said, tell us about GCD. No, I'm not going to do it. You mention it again, I'm ending the podcast. And I did.
Don't make me stop this podcast.
Exactly. It was a real dad moment.
I will turn this podcast around and go home right now. All right. So, hey, we got some more news here. We're having so much fun getting this show going. You guys are great guests. All right. So, hey, if anybody's ever heard of Canby, Oregon, I had not heard of Canby, Oregon, but now I have, and this is really cool. They have a challenge coin published. It's coming on August 12th at 9 a.m. There's an event to launch it off. It's GC78PZ1. Chris?
Yes.
PZ1.
Papa Zulu.
There you go. All right.
Sorry. I was typing in the chat room. You caught me. Okay. Go ahead.
That's all right. That's all right. You're doing something productive there. That's all right. Hey, so yeah, so that's the GC78 Papa Zulu 1 or PZ1. And they say, come join us in the kickoff for the 2017 Canby Coin Challenge. It starts on Saturday, August 12th, 2017 at the Canby Fairgrounds from 9 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. The coin is about wine country this year with Mount Hood in the background. If you go to the event page, you can see the coin. It's pretty neat. It's
Nice.
not your regular shaped round coin. It looks pretty awesome.
Mhm.
They said we're lucky this year to have 2 different metal colors to choose from, and there's a total of 400 coins to be earned, 1 per family. So I would think with 400, that should definitely run for a year.
Yeah, I don't know. This is the Northwest.
Well, fair enough. But if 1 per family and there's 400, you should definitely get you through the summer.
He'll get you through the summer when people start seeing the coin, when the first winners start putting it on Facebook and whatnot. I think then business will pick up.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Awesome.
definitely.
Or, when it gets mentioned on a geocaching podcast.
Right. Yeah, for tonight.
Exactly.
There you go.
And-
So August 12th, that starts. Now, when I was looking at this article, and I'd never heard of the town of Canby before, so I went to the event page there and read through it, took a look at the coin, and then I started to look. Okay, where is this on the map? And started to pan out. And I went, oh, I've got some smileys near there. Canby is actually pretty close to the original stash plaque,
Huh?
and also to the town of Molalla, Oregon, where they had a geocoin challenge. I want to say 3 years ago. And when we went down to the original stash, no, actually, it was after we went down to the original stash. We went on a different trip down there into Oregon, and we stopped in at Molalla and did their geocoin event. So that was cool. So, anyways, head on down to Oregon. Have
That
some
was-
fun.
Courtesy of PTLD 2016. We've been chatting a bit and got us a couple of good contacts for upcoming guests, and it's going to keep us up to date on some Oregon events coming up. So I appreciate that.
Very
Now,
nice. Thank you, PTLD.
Washington drivers. This is serious business. Beginning July 23rd. That's 3 days from today. If you're listening to the podcast, it's already happened and it's too late for you. That will be against the law for Washington drivers to use handheld cell phones while they're driving. Right? This includes all electronic devices, whether it's a cell phone or whatever the next thing coming down the road is. Laptops, tablets, video games. Tickets for driving while using handheld electronics will go on your record and will be reported to your insurance provider. So while you're trying to look for that cash or play Pokemon Go while you're driving, it's going to be expensive here in a couple
Okay,
of days.
so I gotta say, I get when cell phones, handheld GPSs, even tablets, I can see that being used by drivers. I'm not saying that opinions about the behavior aside, I can understand why that's in there. Video games? Who's playing handheld videos? Got my Game Boy going, got my PS3.
Yeah. No,
Really?
and you got a whole Wii right there in the seat next to you trying to play tennis or something. I don't know. But,
thinking, wow,
you
people.
just throw it all in there. Use all the words that you need to. I mean, a tablet or a laptop while you're driving.
Yeah, any electronic device. So now this is the same rules that are in place in British Columbia. And I think when you say for Washington drivers, what we mean is basically anybody who is driving in the state of Washington, regardless of where you're from,
Exactly.
the law applies to you.
Mhm.
And then I heard on our local radio, the key here is distracted driving.
Hmm.
And
Mhm.
so the focus has been on cell phones and electronics, but it also includes eating, putting on makeup, any distraction.
Exactly.
And so they took all the fun out of driving. Now we have to pay attention. So,
I know
Yeah,
I had a guy I worked with
driving anymore.
that somehow managed to eat a bowl of cereal while driving into work.
Oh.
As far as I know, that takes 2 hands.
yeah.
I think he was steering with his knees.
Oh,
So no handheld cell phones while driving, even while stopped in traffic or at a traffic light. No
Mhm.
typing messages or accessing information. No watching videos or using cameras. You can use your device if you are hands-free, if you are parked out of the traffic flow, if you're starting your GPS or music before you drive, or contacting emergency services. So, driving under the influence of electronics, they're calling it an EDUI, is the type of ticket drivers will receive when pulled over using handheld electronic devices while driving. The cost of each EDUI increases with each infraction. So the first one's $136. The second one within 5 years is $234. and I don't know what happens at the third one.
Wow.
So
Yeah. And to what Kid Vegas was just saying there, what JD was saying, dangerously distracted. You can also get a $99 ticket. That's not a sale price. That's the ticket price for other types of distractions, such as grooming, smoking, eating, or reading, or eating bowls of cereal if the activity interferes with safe driving, and you're pulled over for another traffic offense. So,
Okay.
yeah.
So we laughed at people for using tablets or notebooks, laptops. Who's reading? Are you reading a novel? Are you looking at the newspaper while you're going down the road?
Yeah. I definitely get the reading thing. I found that interesting about smoking.
Yes.
You see so many people smoking in their cars.
Well,
I'm surprised that's going to be something. they're
I've
gonna-
seen them smoking and drinking a cup of coffee, and neither hand is free. I'm like, how do you control your vehicle?
Oh my goodness. Wow. So there you go. Some important stuff to be aware of if you are planning to drive in the state of Washington starting this weekend. All right. We mentioned British Columbia a little bit when we were talking about the EDUI laws. But we want to remind folks that we have some pretty crazy wildfires going on in British Columbia, and they're still raging. Although good news, we had some rain today, and I think they called off the evacuation up in Williams Lake, which was good news. But we're not, to coin a phrase, we're not out of the woods yet. So there was an article in the Independent from the UK that mentioned that British Columbia has advised around 3,000 people to evacuate, and we have declared a state of emergency as the wildfires sweep through. More than 138 new wildfires broke out on Saturday alone, raising the total.
138 new fires.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we're at about 240 at the time of the article being published. We've got over 1,800 firefighters tackling the fires. At least another 260 coming in from other parts of Canada. And on the news tonight, we actually just accepted a series of crews from Australia coming up to help us out, since it's their off season for fires, because it's their winter.
Winter.
Which is great. And we've sent Canadians down to help in Australia before. So it's wonderful to have that through the Commonwealth, helping each other out. Yeah, the province of Saskatchewan has sent 3 air tankers and 30 firefighters to help us out here in BC. It's pretty crazy. But most of all, what we want to do is just tell you guys, if you're planning to head out into the interior, to maybe rethink where you're going, and definitely check the web for updates. And Drive BC is the website to really check to see what highway closures are going on and where areas are evacuated. And if you are so moved to help out financially, to check the redcross.ca website. Right at the front page there, they've got links to allow you to donate to help out the people who are relocated.
Yeah. So Land Monkey, is that mostly gold country?
Gold
That
Country
area?
is where the big hit is. Yeah. So that's I've heard a rumor. I don't know facts yet. Maybe anybody from the BCGA who's in the live chat can clarify for me. But I've heard a rumor that the Gold Country events for the end of this summer are either postponed or off. I don't want to start any rumors, but that's what I've heard. There's a possibility that what they may do is repurpose the events to get people to come out and help replace caches.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, it's terrible. I know I was in California and they had so much rain in February, which promoted more growth, which is now dead and drying and has increased the fire risk there as well. So just, guys, common sense. Common sense isn't all that common, but think about what you're doing when you're out and about, and try to keep the fire risk as low as possible.
Absolutely. All right. So I think that's everything we've got for news.
Can you believe it?
It's a fair bit.
But now it's time to bring in our ever so patient guests. So JD and Lisa, thank you for joining us tonight.
Happy to you're having us.
Always a pleasure to see you guys. Hey, so we're going to talk tonight about the new and wonderful Geotour, the sustainability of Spokane. Geotour, I think I got the name right. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay. But before we get in there, now there is 2 other geotours that we know of historically from Spokane, and we're kind of wondering what the status is on those.
Sure. Well, 2 years ago, we launched our first Geotour, which was the Spokane History Geotour. We still have about 24 coins left for that particular one. Some of the caches have been archived, but you can still earn 100 points is what you need to earn to earn the coin for that one. Or if you're very close at this point, we're allowing people, because some of these caches, we actually brought in about half of the caches for the Geotour were pre-existing caches. And then we hid some new ones as well, highlighting historical points. So that one is still going. It's not an official Geotour. It's more like a Geotrail at this point.
Yep.
And then a year ago, we launched the, excuse me, the Filmed in Spokane Geotour. And that one, we have actually quite a few coins for that one too. And those were all new caches for that one.
Mm-hmm.
So at this point, actually, those coins are for sale. You can either finish the tour, as many caches as you can. That Geotour was set up where you had to do all of the caches to earn the coin. So again, it's been a year, so some of those caches have been archived or they're disabled due to construction and other issues. So you can do the tour as many as you can to earn a free coin, or you can buy the coin. It's a beautiful coin. It's a Chris Mackey design as well.
Nice.
That is a good looking coin. I've seen it and envied it myself. So we may have to make a trip to Spokane and knock out a couple of Geotours and see what we can do.
Sure, you can get 3 right now.
Yeah.
Ooh,
We, associated with the Filmed in Spokane Geotour, we had 10 lab caches
Yes.
that were, I like to say, pushing the boundaries of the lab portion of it, because it was an experiment with Groundspeak. And these caches actually stayed active for the entire year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I sadly had to notify Groundspeak that it's time to close those up. And so they became inactive at midnight this past Sunday. But if you have the codes or did them this weekend, there's a 7-day grace period to get them logged. So our little Benny and June trail, there was 10 locations where they'd actually filmed parts of the movies. And that will be going away.
Yeah,
It was a lot of fun.
That's amazing.
Wow.
Lab caches out for a year. That's record setting.
Yeah.
53 weeks actually, because they're extending it a week there for your logging. That's incredible. I mean, I've only seen lab caches exist for I think a week, maybe 2 weeks at the most. So.
Yeah, and that was the nature of the experiment. They checked in with us at this 3-month point and decided, okay, well, there's still enough interest that, okay, let's keep it open. And they didn't check back with us again, but since the Geotour is no longer the Filmed in Spokane Geotour, it'd be the class act to close it down.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. But that's incredible. And so throughout the entire year, there was enough activity on the lab caches to keep them active. That's great.
I would assume so. During the wintertime, what we've noticed with these past 2 tours, it does slow down in the wintertime. But there is activity in the wintertime. And so I'm assuming that there was activity on the lab caches as well. None in our group actually own the lab caches, so we couldn't go in and see the stats. We had to get that through
Jen.
Yeah, Jen. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It was Jen or Groundspeak. I was trying to, which one do I choose?
Oh, okay.
There's a
Jen at Groundspeak.
Yeah.
Yeah. And mountain bike as well.
Okay. So for this new Geotour, can you give us some of this inside information? Let's start with the number and types of geocaches. Sure.
There's 29 caches. And then there's a free space if you attend any events that are associated with this SOS. That's the acronym we're using for Sustainability of Spokane.
Mhm.
We have a lot of cache types. So
Yes.
there's traditional, there's multi,
Mhm.
there's puzzle,
Mhm.
there's letterbox, there's a reverse where I go.
Mhm.
What did I miss?
A reverse
Earth
where I go.
cache and an earth
Earth
cache
is in there as well.
Yeah.
And events, of course.
and events.
Yeah.
So you can get quite a few icons, and actually all of the caches are fairly easy. No long hikes. It's doable in a day.
Oh, nice.
Mhm.
So a reverse where I go, that's where somebody else has gone.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a trick to them. You actually, I don't believe you can set one up until you've done one. And our team members that set it up, they were honeymooning in Hawaii and came across this reverse where I go.
Yep.
And once they completed it, it's something about the code that unlocks the cartridge or however it goes that that then can be used for when you set up yours.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, and it seemed all very complicated, so I let them handle that.
It seems to work just fine.
Yeah.
Nice. I'm gonna go take a look at that.
That's awesome. Yeah, there's one that was recently published up our way. We haven't done that one yet, but looking forward to that. So now you guys are saying there's an earth cache, so I'm interested. But also puzzle caches as part of the series. So are they puzzles like you could solve at home before you head out, or are they field puzzles?
Oh, that's a good question. I actually
I think
was not
there's
involved in the
each.
hiding of those particular ones.
I think there's one of each.
One of each?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So let's say somebody from, I don't know, maybe a neighboring country wants to come and do the new Geotour. Obviously a good idea to check it out and make sure we know what we're getting into, preload the where I go, and try and solve maybe one of those two puzzles before we head down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it's always a good idea to get the scope of the adventure that you're going to be setting yourself up to do. And a different thing too about this particular Geotour, not all the caches are required. So there are six caches that you have to do. They're related to our sponsors and some particular points that we really wanted everybody to visit and do those particular caches. And then there's another 24 caches, and you only have to do 18 of those. So, and they're also closer in distance-wise. There's not nearly as much driving this year as there was in the past 2 years. So you can actually skip some of those and not have to do them if you choose not to.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Now you also said there's events as part of this. Are there going to be events sort of all year long being planned, or?
Funny you ask. Yeah, we had 5 events this last weekend, all associated with the Geotour.
Wow.
And then our next one coming up will be the Eclipse event. It should be published here in the next couple of days. I'm actually just working on the write-up for that one. And as you guys probably know, the total eclipse is coming. For us here in Washington State and Canada, it'll be 90 to 70 less percent of totality. But that is Monday, August 21st.
Yep.
It's the Monday after Ape Day in the morning for our time zone in this area in the Northwest. So it starts around, I think, a little bit after 9 a.m. in the morning. So we're hosting a solar eclipse viewing event. And that will, again, if anybody attends that, then they'll be able to get that free space filled in their passport. And I think we'll be having another one in the Drive Electric Week, which is coming up in September.
Ah, very cool. Is it early September or late September?
I believe it's mid-September. I'm sorry, we haven't published that one. We haven't figured out the details yet. We're waiting to hear back from our contacts with the electric car people.
Yeah, that and we might be conflicted, and so one of our team members may need to put that event on. Those that aren't going over to Cache-Splash event.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it might conflict with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Busy time of the year, right?
Yes,
Oh,
it is.
yeah, it's something's booked every weekend here.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
As soon as the snow melts, it's just, hit the ground running.
Awesome.
Oh, I like that Drive Electric event. It's shocking that you won't be able to be there, but we can all get a charge out of it. Anyway, sorry, that was terrible. I appreciate the courtesy laugh. Now, all joking aside, I really do like this whole sustainability aspect. What are some of the sites that this Geotour is going to take us to? What can we see?
Well, speaking of electric cars, we actually have quite a few electric car charging stations that are on the Geotour. One of them is actually on a Nissan dealer's grounds, and it's free. It's publicly available 24/7 to drive up and plug your car in. And there just happens to be a geocache tucked on the backside of it.
How convenient.
Yeah. And then there's a couple other, it's a multi-cache, I believe.
Yeah, out in the
Liberty
town
Lake.
of Liberty Lake. Their city council has been pushing rather hard and effectively to get these charging stations set up in the parks there. One of our sponsors lives out in the area and is a force behind this. And so, a lot of that type of installation and activity is happening. And we were running the store Saturday when it launched, but I guess the sponsor, we need one. He's the required cache, one of the required caches, and so he was giving electric hay rides all day Saturday.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he has a fantastic, it's the Solar Acre Farms is the name of his area. And he has these, he has cows, grass-fed cows that you can purchase beef from as well. And large solar arrays. And of course, a really cool cache. It's quite large, actually. You can't miss it if you drive up to the area. And then he has these electric powered little tractors and such, and he was giving hay rides throughout the day to any geocachers that came up. So, and he just gained his citizenship here just a few months ago.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, from the Netherlands, I believe.
Okay.
Cool.
I'm been looking for years for a good electric car. I've got a short commute. I really want to do, go all electric. I don't know if I'd be able to drive it to Spokane for the weekend, but at least if I do, I know there's a couple of chargers there, right?
Exactly.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I got to test drive the Leaf when I was chatting and making arrangements with the Nissan dealer here.
That's the one I'm looking at.
Okay, it's a spunky car. I was impressed. I mean, I popped right on the freeway, 0 to 60 quite quickly, and it was a very comfortable drive. It would take you a little while to drive across the state currently. I don't think that there's enough charge
range yet.
Range,
But they're
that's
coming.
the word.
They're improvements happening all the time.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
We also have one of our multis takes you to a new solar panel array, and then right nearby, the second leg of the multi is a steam plant, and the steam plant generally operates in the winter when a tad bit more electricity out in that neighborhood needs to be made. And that was interesting. I didn't know that existed.
Yeah, and it's literally just up the street from our home. So it's kind of cool to learn about that.
We have a geocache hide at a beekeepers.
Beekeepers? Yep. Yeah, I was introduced to the Beekeepers Association in the area, and this particular cache is an affiliation with a youth group that the Beekeepers Association are teaching them how to keep bees, and they'll be collecting honey here later this summer. And on a funny side note, I found out that one of our local geocachers, LF Librarian, is actually associated with the beekeepers and helped set up those hives within the last year or so.
Wow.
So it kind of came full circle there. Yeah. And then one of our other sponsors is the Lands Council here in Spokane. And they asked us to hide a cache in one of their tree planting sites.
Yep.
So it's just off of Kendall Yards, right by the Spokane River. And it's a really nice walk. You park on one side of the river and you actually walk across a pedestrian bridge, no cars. And it's right where there's some gentle falls along the Spokane River. And then you walk up a little bit to this little glade of trees where you can see where they've been planting.
Nice.
Yeah, we have one of the NOAA weather stations,
Mhm.
a night cache.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's another-
There's a night cache.
Yes, there is.
and then
And
there's
you need a UV light to do the
Yeah.
night cache,
Good to know.
FYI.
and then lots of, well, not lots, a couple of community gardens.
Yep.
Hid some caches there. People, the
Urban
operators
gardening.
of the gardens fell in love with the idea. Said, "Yeah, attach a birdhouse. It'd be great."
Yeah.
And then we have my dam cache. So
Ugh, yeah, his damn cache.
time to take the dam tour. So.
Awesome. So you guys are really focused on a wide range of sustainability concepts and ideas. It's not just about energy production, but a whole range of different ideas.
Absolutely. And what our very first event was a kickoff event on Friday before the whole tour launched. And I can't words here.
Yeah.
We arranged to have 2 free tours of the waste to energy plant. So, and a meet and greet for a couple of hours in one of their meeting rooms there, and then 2 tours. So that was really fascinating. I know it was a little bit warm that day, but people got to do the full tour to see what happens. I think we're the only one in the state that actually has this waste to energy plant. So a lot of our garbage is incinerated and creates steam power, which is then creates turbines to go. And anyway, you have to take the tour to get the whole picture of it. But I think they are able to power 3,000 to 4,000 homes with our garbage.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was actually controversial when it was built. It wasn't necessarily, if I remember correctly, voted on by the people. So it was local government, mayor at the time, and it was one of the first waste to energy stations in the country, actually. And the opponents were hanging their hat on the smoke coming out, the pollution.
Yeah.
And this is one of the cleanest burning facilities there is. They have scrubbers, they call them. And so what happened is this facility was built, closed the landfill, backfilled the landfill. And now enough time has passed, they are starting to build houses in the landfill area.
Yeah.
Because they don't need as big of a landfill or as much. There's not so much waste because it's all getting burned and converted to power.
Yeah, just a little bit of ash is really the result. In wintertime, it looks like it's smoke, but it's just steam that's coming off of it from the heat that's generated.
So that was during working hours. So I didn't get to attend. Did you get to go to the recycle part too?
No.
No. Okay.
No. Yeah, we have quite a large recycle system here as well. And curbside recycling in most of the county, I believe. Yeah.
And it's curbside and one bin. You don't have to separate your bottles and paper and whatnot. And the facility that processes this type of waste for recycling is brand new, probably 2 years old. And
Couple years.
and they use all sorts of technology. They like dump the recyclables on the conveyor belt, and it moves along, and gusts of air blow, separates the light paper out. Magnets capture the metal stuff that's ferrous.
Yeah.
And it sort of auto separates. It's crazy.
Yeah.
That sounds pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, we really wanted to build a really well-rounded tour, looking at all different aspects of sustainability, food, energy, the environment. As most people know, a river runs through our town, the Spokane River, but there's also the aquifer which runs beneath us. And so one of our caches has to do with the aquifer, I believe.
Yeah, that damn cat.
The dam cache. Yeah, it's dam cache. Yeah. And then a part of the whole well-rounded tour, we have all those different icons that you can earn as well and get it all in a day.
Wow.
That's impressive.
Mhm.
That is
Great.
impressive.
So now you guys mentioned that there was a number of events for the launch.
Mhm.
How was the attendance?
Really good.
Yeah, I was surprised.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, we were really quite surprised. We had quite a few, I'd say 40-ish. I didn't count noses, but there were some big families that showed up to the waste to energy plant tours. And then an hour after that, we had a big barbecue, and we had over 60 people attend our barbecue.
Mhm.
And that was on the South Hill, the south end of town. And that was a prelude to the night cache. So the night cache published at sunset just as a barbecue was wrapping up, and then folks could caravan or carpool up to the night cache area and do that one. And then Saturday, the following day, we had our launch at State Line to give people a good starting point so that they could start the furthest east that they needed to be. It was a state line to Idaho and Washington.
Okay, got it. Yep.
And then from there, that was from 9 to 11. The rest of the cache was published at 9:30. Except for Earth Cache, it went an hour later. I guess it was on geologic time.
That would have been a million years later, but yeah.
Yeah, well, at least it finally published. And then we had the wrap up or tour of the new cache cave, where people could turn in their passports and then also come find us where our new location is. And that was Saturday evening.
Oh,
And then-
right. I've heard a rumor there's a new cache cave.
There is. Yeah, we moved.
Where did we
Oh,
move
that's a
to?
good move.
Yeah, right in the middle of trying to put on a geotour.
Yeah.
Not the best time to move. Whoops.
So where's the new cache cave?
So it's 9209 East Mission Avenue, Suite B. That's basically Argonne exit, Argonne and Mullen, or north-south, and then Mission is the very first intersection just south of the freeway.
Awesome. So that sounds like pretty easy access if you're coming through town.
It's super easy access, actually. And we have a huge parking lot, just huge. So, yeah, lots of room for cars. The cave is a little smaller, not room for a lot of cachers, but it's working out really nice. We really like the new space.
Were you able
Good.
to move the cache that was out front?
Yeah.
Yes and yes.
We got to move it twice.
We got to move it twice, yeah. We had tentative approval to move the cache, and so we did.
Set it up
Doctor
out
Who.
front, like at the old cave.
Mhm.
And we did for Saturday. It was set up out front. So there's a whole new puzzle, same cache, but you need to get the punch in there.
It's
for your-
required.
And so there's a new puzzle and a new code you got to work out to get it. And finish your story.
Yeah. So that was there all weekend. And then Monday morning, I got a frantic email from my landlord. The maintenance man kind of freaked out. They thought that we had actually bolted the entire Doctor Who TARDIS onto the wall, cut out part of the wall to put it in, because it looks like it's, embedded in the wall.
Because it's bigger on the inside, right?
Right, right, yeah. 'Cause it only sticks out 16 inches. It's not that deep. And she kept calling it a faux phone because it's a phone booth.
Right.
But anyway, so it's now inside the cave. And unfortunately, we have rather limited hours. I'm usually there throughout the week, but we don't have set open hours. So it is currently available by appointment only.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So yeah, it's in there, and since we didn't attach it to the wall or the sidewalk at the old place, it was actually bolted to the sidewalk,
Cement
and
bolts. Mhm.
and it's well constructed out of real wood,
Yes.
so it's very heavy, and but still just the odd chance of it tipping over. We don't want that. So we loaded up the base of it. There's basically two halves. So probably 3.5 feet worth of space with cinder blocks to keep it.
Mm.
And then that face was screwed on with like 27 screws.
Yeah, a lot of
And
screws.
and oh well, that no problem. It was solid. Well, then got the call to come move this inside
Mhm.
and go to push it to get it on the dolly and lift it up, and oh no, it's even heavier now.
Heavier
How's
on
your
it.
back, JD?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, but it's worked out. We've actually had, I think, 5 different groups already this week had that have come through, made appointments, or were able to come in when I was there
Mhm.
and finish the Geotour, get their punches, and then earn their prize, their cashkins for doing the tour.
Very
Did you bring one?
I don't think I have one. Shoot.
Let me go get mine.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
JD's going to go grab one so we can show you what it looks like.
Nice, because we were going to ask about the tag. So we have to earn it by doing how many of the caches? The 29 caches?
18 of the 24.
18 and 6, so 24
Okay,
of the
24.
29.
And we pick it up at the cache cave?
Yes.
At the new cache cave.
At the new cache cave, yes. Or you can mail in your passport as well, and then we'll mail one back out to you. Obviously, we can't meet everybody. Sometimes we've got some tourists that come through really quickly, so that works out well for them.
Nice. Now,
Yeah.
in keeping with the theme of the weekend, you also did a CITO the day after
Right.
all these events. How was that?
That was great. We had quite a bit of people show up for that one. That was the next day, Sunday morning, from 9 to noon. And
Which was a little too long, but
yeah, it really was. But I think we wanted to give people an opportunity to come early if they wanted to, or come a little later if they wanted to cache earlier in the morning. And when we first got there, the park looked really clean. Yeah, the first group of people went through and said, "Oh, look, I found a candy wrapper."
yeah.
And then we found a homeless camp.
Hmm.
And it took 5 or 6 of us about an hour to excavate all of the trash there. So yeah, so we did a good bit of garbage pickup, and then coincidentally the city garbage picker upper showed up right as we were getting ready to load it into our caboose, so we didn't have to do that. They took it for us.
Nice.
Yeah,
That was nice.
that was. So yeah, here is the prize.
Oh, that's a big one.
Yeah,
It is. It's over 2.5 inches tall.
Mhm.
Or white. I think this is the widest point here at the base.
Isn't it?
Nice. So for those listening, it's a triangle of cashkins. I see windmills on the front. I can't quite tell. We see windmills, solar, and a dam. Yep, you got your dam picture on there,
Yep, we got a dam picture.
along with the earth there in the middle. And so it's a very sharp looking cashkins.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, it's the kind of the earth, wind, and fire,
There you go.
and air,
Mhm,
basically, and with the earth in the center and a little star where Spokane is.
mhm.
And this is unique. It's full color 2-sided cashkins. And is this a track?
Yep.
Is yours trackable?
That's
here?
mine.
Yeah.
Discover away.
Yep. They're all trackable.
I can't see it, but go ahead.
Yeah, I done.
It's okay.
You can't.
Yeah.
Earth, wind, fire, and then air. Was that another member of the band that came later?
Right. Yeah.
No, he's the one that was original and got kicked off.
Yeah.
Oh, got it.
And then he started Air Supply.
Oh, gotcha.
Little known fact.
Yeah.
Very fun.
So the cashkins, as folks may or may not know, they're actually made of aluminum. So they are recyclable. And it's a
With the
smaller
sustainability theme.
footprint in the whole manufacturing and shipping process. So less energy is needed to create them as opposed to a full-size coin.
Mhm.
Very cool.
And then for the logbook for the Saturday events, we recycled last year's filmed in Spokane sign that had, if people may have seen it, had one of those goofy signs that points in all different directions, and all of our films were this far away, and
Yeah. Sleepless in Seattle was that way,
Yeah.
207
fans at
A windmill.
windmill. Yeah, there we go.
A windmill.
And then at the end of the day, well, the next day actually, it got recycled once more into building materials for one of our team members.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
Yep.
So it was upcycled.
Yep.
I think.
Well done.
So, guys, we did have a question from Limax in the chat. He'd like to know, is there a pre-sale coin for this Geotour like there was for the Filmed in Spokane series?
No, there's not for this one. I guess that would be the Finn's actual Geotour coin, which is now for sale. So that would qualify as that, but nothing specifically made for this one. Whereas last year we had the marquee coin. Whoa. That looks,
Here, I got it.
thank you. That looked like the, or modeled after the Garland Theater marquee. And that one was just for sale. But no, not this year. No.
Yeah, we were sort of, when we were toying with the idea about that, part of sustainability is us, and we just didn't have the money to make the coin. So that's what we're telling people is sustainability means us as well. So
yeah,
Exactly. There's only so much, so many hours in a day, and so much you guys can work. So
right.
Now, speaking of that, Spokane seems to be the hotbed for geotours.
Yeah.
They just keep popping up. So what's the secret? Is it all JD and Lisa and Cash Advance, or does the city get involved as well?
The city was definitely involved the first year. We received a grant, a healthy grant that paid for the ground speak fees to put on the Geotour. And then the following year, it was us, basically.
it was us.
Yeah. But it's not just us. We have a huge team of folks that have been helping us out. Some since the beginning, and some have come and taken a year off and come back. So it's a big team of us that really gel really well. We have some folks that have great HTML skills, some really good cache hiders, some good cache creators, some good writing skills, everything, and great ideas for putting on events, especially too. So yeah, it's a group effort. This year, the city was not involved at all. We did have the two sponsors, the Solar Acres Farms and the Lands Council, and some local donations as well, financially and sweat equity too.
and it looks like we have a bead on a possible theme for next year already, based on the person just loves what our team is doing with this all 3 years, and he would love to get more involved. Yep.
Yeah, and he was a sponsor last year as well, so he's looking at coming back in a year. I guess one thing we should mention too about Geotours in Spokane, this particular official Geotour will end on the 8th of August. It will remain as a Geo Challenge. It'll still work exactly the same. The passport will still be available, there. All the caches will still be available. You can still earn the coin, but it won't be an official paid Geotour through geocaching.com.
Interesting.
I hope that makes sense.
What does that mean then? Like if I'm planning to come down later in August and I want to swing through Spokane and do this, what does that mean for me? Do I need to plan ahead some way?
Nope.
The experience should be the same for you, regardless if it's an official Geotour or not. Any one of the pages will have the bookmark list that you can then turn into a GPX and load up on your favorite non-driving electronic handheld device. And
Nicely done there.
Yeah.
So yeah, if there's a cache that's disabled, it could be a free spot if it's one of the 6, if you're there at that time.
We don't expect that to happen though.
No. And if and you don't have to find all of them.
Mhm.
on the other batch. So yeah, the experience should be exactly the same from your end.
Yeah, basically it's like doing a geo challenge, like Tri-Cities challenge.
Okay, so the only difference is that I can't go to geocaching.com's list of geotours after August 8th and
Correct.
sit there and download the GPX. I have to go to the cache pages of the actual
Yeah.
cache.
Right, and they'll all be bookmarked, so you can pull that bookmark, and then if you're a premium member, run that pocket query. Yeah.
Perfect.
So Groundspeak was great to let us reset the entire tour, change the name, all the caches out except for Doctor Who. That's the one that's keeps staying on each year, and all the image and assets as they call it for the Geotour, to reset it in timeline that we wanted to do last week. But we're going to let the current time frame expire, and that's 365 days. So that'll be August 8th.
Okay, awesome.
Mhm.
All right. Well, that was really interesting. We learned a whole lot about the Geotour. I'm really excited. We're already kind of looking at our summer road trip plans and seeing, how can we kind of jiggle this so that we're going through Spokane? So
We'd
Yeah.
love to have you back. Yeah. Everybody said that the folks that were hardcore caching, they started right at 9:30 when they published, and they were able to finish by 3 or 4 p.m.
yeah, we loved it when we came for the first Geotour that you guys had, and we did that one. We got to hang out with you guys a little bit at the Cache Cave. That was a lot of fun. But that one took us 2 days.
Yeah.
Yep, it was designed that way.
Right.
Which was nice. We enjoyed our stay in Spokane, and
Hmm.
we really got out to see some really cool places out.
Good.
Yeah, that was really far flung. Yeah, and that was due to our grant dollars. They wanted you to stay in hotels and stay in tour and visit the area, which makes sense. That's what a geotour is all about. But we're a little more interested in just having fun this year and keeping it a little bit simpler and lower carbon footprint.
Awesome. That makes sense.
That makes a lot of sense.
All right. Well, what do you think, Chris? Time to wrap her up?
I think so.
All right. Well, first of all, I want to thank JD and Lisa. Thank you guys so much for being on the show tonight.
Thanks again for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, you guys are welcome back anytime.
Okay. I'll just,
And sorry.
I just gonna remember not to say GCD.
Oh, I got it.
Troublemaker. Well, listeners, hey, it is time for us to give you a little bit more Caching NW clickbait. That's right. Here's what's coming up in the next few weeks on Caching the Northwest podcast. July 27th, that is episode 209. We've got, I believe, Magnus from Project GC is coming on, Chris. Yeah, I've got the thumbs up. Magnus from Project GC is joining us. We're going to talk about what is the virtual GPS and how do I use it. I am really looking forward to that episode. It's gonna be awesome. I'll learn some new stuff. August 3rd, that's episode 210. Well, hey, you heard us talking about it earlier with Lisa and JD. Our episode's called Total Eclipse of the Heart. We're going to talk about the solar eclipse and how to view it.
And music from the 80s, of course. Oh, no. There'll be no singing on this podcast.
What?
Oh, August 10th, we are going to talk about creating a puzzle series. And finally, August 17th, we are Going Ape Last Call. So right before the Going Ape event. Until next week, where can our listeners find out more about Cache Advance if they were to go out on the interwebs?
Sure. Well, that would
Series of tubes.
series of tubes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So cache-advance.com. We're on Facebook/Cache Advance, and same with Twitter, Cache Advance.
Nice.
Google Plus, Twitter,
Yes.
Pinterest, and Instagram, which we're not too active on this summer. I've been a little busy, but collecting pictures though.
Exactly.
Mhm.
What about the land monkeys? Where can we find them on those series of tubes?
On the series of tubes. Well, you know what? Our blog just got updated this week. We've got an article all about how to make the most out of your Mary Hyde geocaching adventure this summer. So read that article. And that's at landmonkey.blogspot.ca or .com. Either one will work. I'm going to leave it open to everybody. All right. But for our contact info, make sure that you check out the cachingandw.com/hosts. We've got all our stuff on there. But where we're most active and we really encourage people to follow us is on Twitter, Instagram, and we actually periscoped again. We hadn't periscoped for a long time, but we did that at our Mary Hyde Pirate event down on the riverbank. And follow us at LandMonkeyGC. That's where you'll find us there. And of course, check out our videos on YouTube. Just search for Land Monkey. Chris of the Northwest, how do people find you and the podcast?
Look for Caching in W. That could be on Twitter, that could be Facebook, that could be Google+, or as Land Monkey said, head on over to cachingandw.com/hosts, and you can find all our social media accounts piled up there.
Just a big pile of social media.
Yeah, big pile of social media.
Because sometimes that's how we feel about social media. All right.
All a big pile.
Their phone number is very similar to yours.
There you go. All right, folks. Well, we're going to wrap this sucker up. We're going to thank you for taking the time to listen to this episode of Caching in the Northwest. Remember that you can be a part of this show by calling 253-693-TFTC. Leave us a comment, ask a question. Hey, send us some AOL CDs. We need coasters anytime of the day or night.
Yeah.
Of course, you can email us at feedback@cachingandw.com. Also, remember that your support helps to keep quality shows coming. If you like quality shows, please click the Patreon link on the cachingandw.com website. The show is licensed under a Creative Commons Attribution 3.0 license, copyright 2017 by Chris Umfenauer.
So, guys, quick question.
Yeah.
What are your levels of support on Patreon?
Let's see. That's a really good question.
How about we discuss that in the
after show?
Sounds good.
Awesome. And now we're officially in the after show, so we're good.
Because
He's always with us.
Because I think I'm like Denali's the most, right?
Yes.
And I think I'm anthill level.
Yeah.
Mosquito bites.
Yeah.
Did name them after
Okay.
the Northwest.
I had to. Yeah. It's been a while. I had forgotten. Well. Oh, here we go. I found it. Okay. So we start with the Mount Bachelor level, which is $5 a month. The Mount Waddington level is $10 a month. Mount Rainier. Did you know Mount Waddington is actually the third highest peak in the Northwest?
Did not.
Yeah. Mount Rainier is $15 level, and Denali is $25.
Interesting.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
So,
There's the levels. So we've got some FATAS that came in. So first of all, I'm going to read one from who's this one from? From Derek Campbell in the chat there. Replying to me when I made the comment about Gold Country and whether the events were going on because of the fires. And he said they haven't taken stock of anything yet. So I was creating rumors and chaos like I normally do. He says, we'll have to see how it goes when they are over the evacuations in Gold Country. A few folks from the BCJ and others have already offered up help to do the maintenance on the caches if that's needed. I suspect, judging by the footprint of the Elephant Mountain fire, the biggest one that's closest to Cache Creek, I suspect there's going to be a whole lot of caches that need to get replaced because that fire was massive. So definitely a big hit for our good friends up at Gold Country. But you know what? I think maybe in the fall we'll talk to Terry and see how things are going up there.
yeah. That's those Gold Country caches are really spectacular. Only due to the generosity of the Land Monkeys were Wits End and I able to go and get some of these Gold Country caches. So, I mean, they're spectacular. I hate to see any damage, but lives and land come far before caching.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Team Finn had a FATAS here and said their long-awaited TB Hotel has finally been published. So congrats, Team Finn, on getting that published. That's awesome.
Yeah.
They encourage everybody to come and visit. The cache will always have at least 10 TBs in it. Not sure how you're going to manage that, but good work on that.
Okay.
Yeah, the GC code is GC78 Delta 72.
Nicely done.
Oh, thank you. Every once in a while I get it.
Yeah. Only because it's a town nearby, right?
Yeah, there you go. That helps. It helps.
That helps.
All right.
Oh, Team Finn, you've done some incredible work this year. You're hosting an event every month, and you're putting out caches on a regular basis as well. Impressive.
Yeah, nice work.
The monthly event, as Team Finn now pops in to say, will be August 4th for National Chocolate Chip Cookie Day.
Which national? Canada?
Which nation?
Oh,
Good question. I'm not
Yeah.
aware of a National Chocolate Chip Cookie Day, but I will celebrate it regardless of which nation it's hosted
Okay.
by.
Yeah, good plan. Neither were we.
Yeah.
All right. What else do we have? Limax said, hashtag Fatas, I found 3 virtuals with 10 or more favorite points to get his 30. Oh, okay. To get his 30 points. He's talking about his Mary Hyde score there
mhm.
Excellent.
for the week. Well done. Well done,
So
Limax.
can you get all 30 points by yourself? Can you be a team of one? Okay.
Yeah.
I believe you can.
Okay.
All
Yeah, if you have no friends.
You just need to contribute at least 5.
You got it.
Okay.
Mm.
Find a cache is basically what they're saying.
Or
I'm going to check
attending
out
an
that
event.
blog spot because I'm thoroughly confused over this Mary Hyde thing. So
Yeah.
I'm counting on you to unconfuse me.
I look at Mary Hyde as a move to push the Friends feature, which is been in geocaching for almost 5 years and not really used. So it's an opportunity for them to go ahead and push it and get that moving. I have no idea where it's going to go,
Right.
but at least
I thought it was fun how it was set up that, there's not a real competitive thing about this, other than sign up as many people as you can to ensure you get the most coins. But you don't have to form a team and choose a sector and defend the flag and things like that. So that's what I like about it.
Yeah.
And I think geocaching is very social. We all know that.
Oh yeah.
And I think this just helps to promote that even a bit more. So,
Oops, you froze up there, Chris.
well, there you go.
Yeah, I think so. Speaking of social,
I think maybe the Googles are saying it's time to quit.
All right.
the Googles are not so good. They're getting tired.
Is that Google saying, "Hey"?
Hey,
Seriously,
you've used a lot of resources tonight. Are you going to end anytime soon?
Yeah, that's Google's version of saying we need these seats. Go.
Awesome. Well, that takes us to 10:30. There is some more stuff coming in. Hashtag Fatas here in the live chat, you guys. And hey, you know what? Keep the live chat going. But it's 10:30. We're all tired. We're gonna wrap up this podcast here. So thanks. Thanks so much to our guests, Lisa and JD, for joining us. It was great to see you guys again. I'm really looking forward to stopping in and seeing you later this summer.
that'd be great.
Awesome. And so is Mrs. Monkey. She always loves seeing you guys.
Oh, good. We'd love to see her.
Awesome. And all our listeners in the live chat, you guys so much. You guys really make this show. So thanks for joining us as well. And Chris, any parting words from you?
As I always say, until next week, get out and get caching in the Northwest.
See you guys.
Good night.
Good night.